Dink. What up, dude? I didn't tape it down for a reason. But today we are going to put our heart into this painting here. Yeah, that's going to be the goal. Put your heart into it. Your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, your life, everything about you, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're seeing, what you're knowing, what you're doing, everything, And when you put your heart into something, you're going to break some rules. This is going to be the first rule I break, is that, they say you're supposed to use really nice, clean cups every time. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to put our heart and soul and mind and trust into all of this here. We're going to make some art. Just because sometimes you just got to, break a couple rules, break a couple omelets or eggs or whatever the saying goes, I haven't painted in a while, honestly, because I've had, a lot of things going on, personal, professional, whatever. Personally, I've had some visits, from people. Last couple of weeks before this weekend here, I had Muse in town, Madeline. And, it was great. It was a Thanksgiving weekend. It was wonderful to, have her here for that. Always a great time. And, I'm able to show her around the area, which is good for me also, because I get to learn, relearn some parts of Jacksonville or learn some parts of Jacksonville, and playing tour guide like that. We went and did a thing downtown while she was here, where we made these things. They're called fuckheads. Hope I'm saying that right. Puckheads, fuckheads, something like that. I wouldn't say it's fuckheads. But we went to make the fuckheads. And it was a lesson for me, one, in, how to make these things, but also, two, in, dealing with kind of holiday weekend, the festivities in the downtown area. Because, they shut down bridges for fireworks. And I'm a very Main Street Bridge only guy. So, it's a lesson for me. Like, hey, are you going to be able to deal with this bridge here? Or, deal with taking another bridge to get to this location, and trying to remember getting around town. And, I'm someone like, I'm going to turn on the GPS, or Google Maps, I should say, GPS, even if I'm just going somewhere more for the traffic, hey, am I going to have any problems, congestion, whatever, is there an alternate route because of an accident? So I'm going to turn on GPS for that sort of thing. And she's kind of the, she's the, what do we need GPS for? We survived without it. And I'm like, listen, I haven't lived in the city for a while. I don't really know all the ins and outs. I might need some GPS assistance, help me out here. So it kind of becomes a thing of that. So, for that example there, the GPS might have taken us a different route had I looked before to see, hey, are we going to have any issues for... But actually, I think the GPS was taking us through downtown anyway, and it's just that, we bumped into, like I said, the stuff for the fireworks there, so it was fine. We ended up making it, which is what matters. I am getting like every little drop of this out. I don't even know why. It's one of those put your heart into it type of deals. That, it's what we do. As artists, we put our heart into things. And, the thing that we attended, the Fuckhead building, the guy who does that, Byron, it's another example. Putting your heart into your art there. He's been making these things for, I left Jacksonville 20 years ago. So 20 years. Been making these things really. And, they've gained in popularity. He's given them out to different celebrities and such. And also, sold them amongst friends. Small clay pieces, you know. And this was like the first time he did something where, you know, normally he just makes them and then brings them to shows to sell. This was the first time he did something where I was like, hey, come make your own, you know. And it's kind of a community of people in the area. We're all music fans, you know. We're all little Jason Mendozas. So, you know, we're all DJs. So, little community of us, you know. Jason Mendozas. Oh, we're gonna get into that too. But yeah, you know, it's really cool, you know, to see the progression that he's done on this and to be able to, you know, witness that. And I don't really know if I put this color in 10 seconds ago or not. I'm just putting it in here because that's what you do, you know. When you're putting your heart, you don't really care about the rules. You're just caring about what's going to make you feel good, you know. I see a lot of comments on his art, like, oh, these are just little, you know, dolls. They aren't really worth anything. No, it makes him feel good. You know, it's like I see comments on my art, you know, oh, that's a waste of paint. Let me tell you something, kids. The only waste of paint is paint that stays in the bottle, okay? That's why I am trying my darndest to use up all this here before I mix up anything else. You know, I've been telling you guys, yeah, I'm going to mix some paint soon. That was 2023, I think, 24, I think. I was like, yeah, I'll mix some paint soon. I went through 25. I think I mixed some, but I didn't go like crazy on mixing models like I've done in previous years, you know. And, you know, I really didn't have the orders or anything to do so. I didn't have like any pressing shows or, you know, events coming up to mix up a lot of paints. And had some other things, you know. Here I am giving out my excuses like you really care. You're just like, yo, where are my videos? Where are my paintings? You know, so just do it, you know? And, you know, like I said, hey, I want to get as much of this old paint gone. What's the saying? It's like a Bible saying. You can't pour old wine into new bottles or something like that. Or new wine in old bottles. I don't know. I'm not trying to quote the damn book. But, you know, you basically can't, you know, put old paint and new paint together and expect that you're going to have a masterpiece, you know. Let me quote the book and then tell you that I'm not quoting the book. Ooh, that's just like, I don't know, it's like the only one I've actually squeezed out. But I have this record here for some reason. I should probably do like a David Cho version where you can see me, like do another camera where it's just like me walking back and forth, but whatever. But yeah, you know, I had Muse here for that, for the 2 weeks. And, you know, we did some other things, some beach times and, you know, our other events and such and, you know, festivities. And, you know, it's fun having her visit always. And then I also had a visit, you know, speaking of visitors, I had a visit from my older brother, Andrew. He happened to pop in town. I don't know why I did that. That was probably not what I wanted to do. But whatever. But yeah, I had a visit from my older brother, Andrew, actually just recently. He came in to town yesterday. Today's Sunday. Yeah, I don't have anything on Sunday. So he came in town on Saturday. This is actually, and I mean, you know, I guess under technical definitions, it's a half brother, but I have never really called him a half. So my brother, you know, yeah, I came in town Saturday, staying with his aunt. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, technically it's a half brother because it's like he's staying with his aunt. It's like, oh, it's not my aunt, you know. And of course, like, you know, we're both sitting here chit chatting yesterday, and I get a text from someone. It's like, oh, yeah, it's mom's, you know. And both of our moms have passed. Um, so when I said about moms, like, oh, I had to kind of clarify. Oh yes, I can adopt a mom. It's like, oh yeah, I got those. Yeah, we all do. I think. I think we all have adopted moms, and if we don't, then go get you some. I have like multiple. Every last drop. But yeah, we get to these points of just trying to make art with this stuff here, and it's important for us to do. I got to show him around the studio. Madeline already seen it, but I got to show Drew around, which she actually brought up a really good point because like I was telling her, when you're around people, you get to know them a little bit better. I've always known him as Andrew, and he goes by DJ Drew and all this other stuff. And then I'm looking at him, like typing in his phone and this and that, and everything says William, and I'm like, what is William? So it's like, well, are you William? Are you Andrew? Who are you? Why are we calling you this? As someone who, as an artist, we are very particular about our names. Names, nicknames, stage names. Like I mentioned, he does a DJ, and so he has a DJ name, and that's marketing. That's who you are. Yeah. And the name is, it's particular to anything. Like professionally, I want to be called, Derek. I don't want to be called in a professional setting by an unprofessional name. Don't call me D-Rock. Don't call me Kearney. Don't call, well, I mean, unless you're putting Mr. in front of it and you're, a 10-year-old child. Don't call me Prince. I know I'm speaking to like a certain set right now, but don't call me nicknames. Call me a professional name in my professional setting. Around your friends, you have a different sort of, okay, yeah, I can be D-Rock, I guess, or whatever. You kind of grow out of it, but you understand these people have known you forever. In the bedroom, that's a whole nother, call me Mr. Leadbone. Bedroom, yeah, brown chicken, brown cow, whatever, but even with that, yeah, I'm going to have a certain, you can or can't, address me as, with your significant other, your significant other, you use your honey, sweetie baby, Mr. Lovebone. I've never had someone call me Mr. Lovebone, by the way. Muse, if you're listening, please do not call me Mr. Lovebone. Like, that would be embarrassing. How do you even introduce someone like that? This is my boyfriend, Mr. Lovebone. It sounds like a name for a cat, but like not a real cat. I don't know. This is a glitter color also, by the way, that I'm frantically trying to get on top of this here. Oh, I didn't put any yellow. And that's the cool thing. It's like you can notice a lot of times when you're doing these sorts of things, like, oh, I didn't put this color or that color, I'm not going to put that yellow. That looks like dookie. Got any green in here? Put your heart into it, Derek. Your entire heart. Every bit of your heart. Put a little pain in your heart. Put a little pain in your heart. Any more purple? Do I have any purple? I'm like frantically searching through all these bottles for like the last little drop of purple that I can add some. Oh, I think you're a purple. It's like, I think you're a purple. Actually. Oh yeah, you have to go glittery or Yeah, metallic glitter purple. I'll put you kind of along the top edges, I guess. It's gonna leave a mark. I already see some air bubbles in this that'll be popping. But it's okay because we're putting our entire heart into this because that's what we should do. Like I was watching a thing right before, well, not right before. Right before I started, I had some cannabis, but that's a different story. Before I started, I was watching a video, quick short form video, and it was one of those like Facebook reels or whatever from a neurodivergent page, understand your neurodivergent type of deal, .com. And I don't know if we are in a stage of being more aware of, things with mental health, and neurodivergence, or if it's, just the algorithm knows that, I've looked into this myself personally. So, it's kind of like when you go to buy something these days and you're like, oh yeah, I want to check out cat litter, and you go look at one, thing of cat litter, and then the next time you go online, you got like 1,000 different ads of cat litter. You share a picture of your cat, and the next time you go online, there's like 20 ads for cat litter, and the next time there's like 20 ads for, cat toys. And here's some Maui Joanna cat catnip, which is actually really cool for your cat, by the way. My cat does like the Maui Joanna, but, and I'm just saying this because this is stuff that's literally happened whenever I've, gone online recently to buy stuff for Boots, or just gone online in general, or shared cat videos. I could pop up the next day and there's like 1,000 cat stuff. Okay, so I got a giant heart that I put on top of a record. This is a Stevie Wonder record here. I think Stevie's going to be okay with me using his record, it's got like some, it wasn't really well taken care of before. So what I'm going to do here is this is going to be a flip cup. That's going to be my cup there. This is going to be my knot cup here. I'm going to take my knot cup. Actually, I'll put a little white on here just to, I think just to kind of top it. Like what I'll do is I'll put the white on as like a topping layer, really thin, And then when I put the cup on, I'm going to put some white around it also, just around the cup. That way it gives like a little bit of area for that all to move. So I don't know why I got like really quiet to say all that. Like, ooh, let's get that quiet, sexy voice. That's one thing I will say, where I flip this over. My brother has like this like deep, sexy voice. It's like, and seriously, I think the kid's had this voice since I've known him. Like, I can remember being, 7 or 8 or whatever, living in Florida. We had just moved to Florida, and he came down for a visit one Christmas and brought a ColecoVision with him. I think it was ColecoVision. I have to ask him. But, like, because you get these little glimpses of people, when you're around them, you can kind of even see their childhood a bit. I see it a lot with my girlfriend. Even though we didn't spend childhood together, I do see glimpses of her at times. But I saw this glimpse of him at one point yesterday. Yeah, I think it was when he was leaving. He was all like kind of happy or whatever. And it kind of took me back to that moment. And I was like, and I'm listening to his voice. And I'm like, damn, you've had that same voice since we were a kid. Like everyone else's voices, my voices went up and down, and I get my deep voice, or whatever. That's like a little kitty, squeaky voice, But I think he's always had that deep sort of, whatever. Okay, so here's like the part that really kind of scares me when I do it, because I can put all the stuff in the cup, and I can put put the plant on top of the cup, but now I have to flip the cup over. I mean, that is scary right there, folks. You see how scary that is? That's like the most horrifying part of the whole process. I know, that's like the easiest thing. Well, I mean, this is the second scariest part, really, if you think about it. You know, I mean, it's scary off the idea of, hey, what if I drop the cup and everything goes spilling out? And, now I got a big mess. And who's going to clean it up? And then we realize no one's really going to clean up after us. We're cleaning up after ourselves. Yada, 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 yada. Yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, you know what I didn't do? You know what I didn't do? And I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to do this. This is the entire reason why I was like, hey, I'm going to put the cup on. But you know what I can do? Because I have space and I have time. Woo-hoo-hoo. And I'm making some big rolls because after a while you start to use up your tape, so it starts to get a little, painty on there. And man, I can't believe I forgot this step. I mean, I can believe it, but I can't believe I forgot. I mean, I can believe it. I have really, and it's something, I guess I've discovered with this whole, you're neurodivergent, you have ADHD. If you listen to the internet, it could be like an autism mix of ADHD. We'll keep you posted. But, shit, I could have told you that. You're weird. Let me go dig out that 7th grade yearbook, 7th through 11th grade, because I think 12th is been tossed. So yeah, let me go dig out those 7th through 11th grade yearbooks where every single, entry was, stay weird, stay crazy. Nobody's like, yeah, nobody ever was like, yeah, call me over the summer. Let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Nope. It's always, stay weird, stay crazy, stay, not you. And here's me like, I wonder if I can get a piece of tape right there. That is not going to stay. And this was definitely an idea that I should have done hours ago or minutes ago. Maybe an hour ago. I don't know how that all was going to work out. Okay. All right. So we have some paint on here. That's what made me think about it. Was like, hey, I'm putting some of this around the outside, for when I, not a lot, obviously, but just enough, to where when I do open up the cup, the paint can flow a little bit, and we'll have some edges and such you can work around. And, I'm like, well, I'm going to spin this out when I do flip it. And then I was like, oh, it's going to go flying everywhere, which there's still a chance of that, but whatever. Sometimes when you put your heart in things, you forget little spots. You got to go back, and sometimes you just have to take little chances that it may not work, but whatever, Like I said, I'm watching this video and it's like, hey, make art, make shitty art, do shitty singing, make mistakes, nothing has to be perfect. Obviously, if you're doing like commercial, type of thing where you're, making someone's graphic or whatever, you want to get as close to perfection as possible, but this is, and yes, don't get me wrong. Yes, I am grateful for everyone who buys these pieces, who, supports the channel, in all sorts of ways. But this isn't for everyone, in a sense. This is for one. I'm making this off the idea that, this is going to make God happy that I'm making art today. you know, and sometimes our art's going to go everywhere. Yeah. That's a big old flip cup, right? Right. I don't even have to spend this. Whew, that's going to be messy, 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 messy. It's going to be very, very messy. Very, very messy. I might see if I have any little cutouts that I could play with. I do have some heart cutouts. Haha. Speaking of cutouts, because these are some nice colors here. Why not try to do something with it? You guys know me. If I get even the smallest bit that can be scraped up and used for something else, I'm going to try to scrape it up and use it for something else. Because hey, why not? That becomes another thing. This is another painting here. Make as many of these little hearts as possible. And this is how we spread love in the universe, is by allowing it to pour out from us, to go over the sides, picking up little bits of spilled and trying to replace them so that we have more hearts, we have more love. We're spreading more joy throughout the world. More people can experience happiness and all that sort of stuff. I am someone who, I do love making these little cutouts, really, because, these become little things that I share. I'm just finding little places where I can put them. Yeah, these become little things that I can share, at different times. Like maybe I take one and it becomes a cutout that I'm going to place my, info on, or, place it next to a piece, attach it to another piece of art. If I'm doing just like a regular painting, I can attach these cutouts to that, give them away as like little gifts, especially the shapes. Hey, if you got a little painted heart with your vinyl, or your canvas, wouldn't you be happy to see that? Of course you would. We've even done things, I think I mentioned my girlfriend. Oh, did I say girlfriend? I usually say muse. Anyway, the lady. We're going to say we're done with hearts. I want to save some of those hearts. Let's do something else. Look a butterfly. Yeah, it's a butterfly. But the lady and I, we'll go out to eat sometimes, and she has this thing of giving out mantra cards, inspirational, have a good day, be happy, type of stuff. And um, there's been a couple occasions where we've taken these little cutouts and used them, kind of as the mantra card. Oh, this one here, this butterfly, I'm just going to take it right out of the cup because I had a lot of extra in the cup. But yeah, we've done that, and it's worked out well, I think, for us. I mean, worked out for the people we've given them to. And it's nothing crazy. It's like the person at the grocery store, or like I said, you go out to eat, your server. And it's not like in place of the tip. Let's go ahead and state that also, because you know I can already like feel the comment section, starting to come alive. Like, what the hey? You're giving somebody a little card with a saying on it, and no, we're giving them money also. Jeez, like I've worked in restaurants, so I get it. you know, I ain't tipping you 30%, but you know, times are tough. Apparently, a bunch of people voted for fascism to come back, so now we have to pay for everything again because some folks decided they hate it, others that much. But again, different discussion, different day. Oh, I think I just scraped off a bunch of paint that was supposed to stay on that heart, but whatever. Okay, yeah, I think this experiment's kind of, we've made a bunch of hearts and a butterfly. Which I'll be taking photos of everything soon. Don't worry, folks. Don't you worry about a thing. I kind of want to keep all this together right now. Oh, wait a second. I gotta do a couple. Gotta do some surgery. I think I see a little bit of surgery I need to do here. Yep. Now, sometimes when you're, putting your heart into things, you gotta do some surgery to make sure it all, is okay. I haven't even torched any of this. Whew. Oh, bummer. This is how long it's been since I painted this. I didn't put any gas in here because I just automatically assumed that I would have gas, even though I never really have gas in the city. Like, come on, Derek. You think after so much time you'd get it right? You don't have gas in here ever. Anytime you ever started, have you ever had gas in there? No. What do you think you're gonna do it now? Don't leave all of your heart on the side of the road here. I mean, get as much as you can on your surface. All right, let's pop some air bubbles, I guess. When you're popping your bubbles, you're going quickly over, not really spending a lot of time in an area. You're not trying to burn the surface. I mean, I will burn the surface at times, but you ain't trying to do that. That can of fire might be dead. I sense. Is there any in this one? That's enough of that. I'm sure I'll figure out a way to. I gotta full can literally sitting right there. And I'm like, no, I can't use it. It's not the one that I wanted. Whatever. Is this more paint in here? Like scrape every last drop out, you know. I don't even know if I'm gonna move that just yet. I think I just want to, you know, see how it glows first. I may not even move it off of the vinyl for it. Well, actually, I'm gonna need to move it off the vinyl just because I'll need to. Yeah, whatever. I wonder how this actually looks for you guys. Okay, all y'all can see is just the one. All right. Yeah. So let's get cracking. Am I cracking? Ooh, that actually looks really cool. Yeah. Um, when I take the heart off in a bit, you know, and try to get some photos or whatever, or when I just remove the heart, it's going to be a really cool look, I think. I'm just looking at some of the other mini hearts down here that I did along the sides, but yeah, you know, it's going to be really cool, I think. Um, yeah, put your entire heart into it, you know, every bit of your heart. You know, it's what you're here to do. It's what God wants you to do. You know, it's what country wants you to do. It's what, you know, you're put on this earth to do. You know, whatever you're believing in. It's what science wants you to do. You know, it's what yourself wants to do. Your higher self, your lower self, your middle self, all yourselves. You know, I like God, so I will say, you know, it's what God wants you to do. But you know, if you want to say it as something else, yeah, that's great. But you know, however you're saying that, put your heart into it. You know, just leave your heart sitting there on the table, kind of wondering, you know, but put your whole heart and soul into what you're doing here. You know, because that's how you're going to find your happiness in it. How you're going to find your joy. Um, and yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, none of this is perfect, but you know, get some paint on your arms and your legs and your chest, and you know, put your heart into it, your soul, and see what happens to you. Because that's where the magic is. Okay. So, till next time, I'm going to take some photos here, you know, while I have the lights out. That way, when I can turn the lights back on, you know, they'll be good. Yeah, until next time, deuces.